ladies and gentlemen, His Excellency Dr. Hage Geingob, the President of the Republic of Namibia.
Namibia, land of the brave freedom fight, we have won. Glory to their bravery, whose blood waters our freedom. We give our love and loyalty, together in unity, contrasting beautiful Namibia, Namibia, our country, beloved land of savannas, hold high the banner of liberty. Namibia, our country, Namibia, motherland, we love thee. Let us all unite and celebrate together the victories won for our liberation. Let us dedicate ourselves to rise together to defend our liberty and unity. All sons and daughters of Africa, flesh of the sun and flesh of the sky, let us make Africa the tree of life.
His Excellency Dr. Hage Geingob, the President of the Republic of Namibia, His Excellency Mr. Zurab Pololik Ashebili, Secretary General of United Nations World Tourism Organization, His Excellency Albert Muchanga, Commissioner for Trade and Industry, African Union Commission, Deputy Minister, Environment, Forestry and Tourism, Honorable Heather Shipungu, distinguished ministers responsible for tourism and heads of delegation representing various African states, His Excellency Dr. Ibrahim Hassan Maraki, head of the African Union Development Agency, NEPAD, Ambassador Albertus Ahmo, Your Excellencies from the Diplomatic Corps, the UNWTO delegation and staff, Chief Executive Officers representing respective national tourism authorities and tourism companies, government officials, invited guests and delegates, representatives of various media houses, ladies and gentlemen, and to everybody who's joining us virtually here today. Welcome to this auspicious occasion of the UN World Tourism Organization Regional Conference, Strengthening Brand Africa for the Swift Recovery of the Tourism Sector. This is a very auspicious occasion because it is the first presidential event that the UNWTO hosts in Africa, which also aims at encouraging the restart of the tourism sector. I'm Michelle McLean, your Director of Ceremonies. I'm a daughter of Namibia, a daughter of Africa, and I'm very proud to be here today for this auspicious occasion. Without further ado, it is my honor to ask on stage to do the opening remarks, Honorable Heather Sibungu, Deputy Minister of Environment, Forestry and Tourism, Namibia. Heather.
His Excellency Dr. Hage Godfrey Geingob, President of the Republic of Namibia, His Excellency Zorab Kashivili, Secretary General of the United Nations World Tourism Organization, Mr. Albert Muchanga, Commissioner of Trade and Industry of African Union, and all protocol observed. A very good morning to you all. Allow me this morning to welcome you to this historical, auspicious occasion. At the outset, let me take this opportunity to welcome you all warmly to the land of the brave. Let me also welcome the distinguished delegates that are joining us visually. We look forward to your active participation in the proceedings going forward. On behalf of the Government of the Republic of Namibia, we are honored and indeed thankful to the United Nations World Tourism Organization for providing Namibia the opportunity to host this African Regional Conference. Given the current situation, it has been a challenging task, but our gathering here today represents an important symbol of our collective determination to revive a sector that is such of critical importance to the development of our continent. Namibia's hosting of United Nations World Tourism Organization Regional Conference on Strengthening the Brand Africa for the swift recovery of the tourism sector is indeed a landmark moment as a continent deliberate on how we recover our sector from the impacts of COVID-19 pandemic. The impact of COVID-19 pandemic on the sector has been profound and unprecedented and requires a collective mind and common and united course of action at a continental level. Ladies and gentlemen, the focus of this conference on national regional branding to enhance the image of Africa as a tourist destination is a furthermore timely. All too often we see image of Africa portrayed in a negative light in the media. We are painted as a continent that is home to wars, poverty, and forced immigration. This conference will play an important part in positioning Africa as a tourism destination of choice based on our rich cultures, warm hospitality, spectacular scenery and wildlife, as well as many other attractions. I'm confident that this repositioning will assist the continent as a tourism sector reopens and recovers from the impacts of the pandemic. We therefore look forward to continuing the good work on enhancing Brand Africa from the previous UNWTO Africa Regional Conference that was held in 2015 in Ghana. We further look forward to a strong pledge and action plan for advocating Brand Africa from this conference, as well as for a unified approach to the implementation of the WTO Agenda for Africa. Tourism for exclusive growth, particularly as we build back the sector from the COVID-19 pandemic. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to remind you all to strictly adhere to the established protocols here in Namibia. In particular, let us frequently sanitize our hands, wear masks at all times, practice social distancing. I wish you all a successful conference and wish you all a healthy and enjoyable stay in the land of the brave. I thank you.
Thank you, our Honourable Deputy Minister. And now we'd like to invite His Excellency Albert Muchanga, African Union Commissioner for Trade and Industry, for his remarks.
Thank you very much, Director of Ceremony. Your Excellency, Dr. Hage Geingob, President of the Republic of Namibia, And thereafter, I appropriate the salutations made by the Deputy Minister, and I hope you should not club intellectual property rights. I would like, first and foremost, to thank His Excellency, President Hage Geingob, for being with us this morning. His presence signifies the strong commitment he has for the important sector of tourism, a sector which cuts across all the 17 UN Sustainable Development Goals and the aspirations and goals of the African Union Agenda 2063. I would also like to thank the people and government of the Republic of Namibia for the welcome and the hospitality accorded to us since we arrived in this beautiful country, Namibia, the land of the brave. It is very appropriate that Namibia hosts this important conference because the management of the Namibian tourism sector is highly impressive and commendable. In coming here, we are coming to celebrate a distinct success story. Namibia, strongly Pan-Africanist, continues to honor the African Union by flying the African Union flag and playing the African Union anthem. We thank you very much for this enduring gesture. And let me also add that the African Union is happy to participate in this conference. I bring fraternal greetings from the chairperson of the commission, His Excellency Musa Fat Mohammed, who looks forward to a successful outcome of our conference. The United Nations World Trade Organization, led by His Excellency Zurab Pololikashvili, also deserves our deep appreciation for convening this important conference, and very timely one. It is a conference with a forward-looking program which, if implemented, can assist us to embark on a future of recovery from the highly disruptive COVID-19 pandemic. This conference specifically provides an essential platform for the African Union tourism industry for brand management and development, as well as marketing, which are all critical in raising African countries in the global tourism value chain. When this is achieved, we shall increase the contribution of tourism in the gross domestic products, and in the process, use it for the structural transformation of our economies. I'm equally happy that this conference has a focus on micro, small, and medium enterprises, a reliable source of employment across Africa. When we talk of raising incomes, providing decent jobs, as well as general welfare, SMEs play center stage as the first point of call in achieving these strategic objectives. Tourism is one of the key program areas of the African Union Commission. Organizationally, it is now a fully fledged division, and one of our current tasks is to reach out to the tourism stakeholders across Africa to encourage them to establish an African Tourism Federation to be an umbrella body for African tourism associations, boards, and related agencies. We have done the same in areas of manufacturing, pharmaceuticals, cotton and textiles, as well as mining, among others. This is because we see the African private sector as a key partner in facilitating accelerated, inclusive, sustainable development across Africa. Once the African Tourism Federation is established, we shall enter into a memorandum of understanding and enable African tourism stakeholders to engage in policy dialogue with African ministers in the policy organs of the African Union. Before I come to the end of my brief statement, let me say that an effective tourism brand management attracts increased tourist arrivals and earnings. This, in turn, is dependent on opening of our borders. In the age of the COVID-19 pandemic, trusted travel becomes important. It is this in mind that African Union teamed up with Afro Champions initiative to develop and promote a common standard for health screening for cross-border travel purposes. This is part of the African Union agenda on saving lives economies and livelihoods that has been undertaken since August 2022. Through this platform, we encourage all African Union member states to digitalize COVID-19 negative test results for travelers across and beyond Africa. This single development has huge potential to energize the viability of continental transport and tourism sectors by restoring market confidence, building strong continental destinations, and consequently accelerate our recovery processes. I will conclude by saying that the African Union Commission and the United Nations World Trade Organization will, in the coming 4 years, deepen collaboration to facilitate rapid development of the African tourism sector, including technical assistance in the implementation of the African tourism strategic framework going for the period from 2019 to 2028. And as we embark on this new road of collaboration, I reaffirm our gratitude to the UNWTO Secretary General and his hardworking staff for the 10-point agenda, which will greatly support the development of our tourism sector at the national, regional, and continental level. I'll stop here and thank you for attention.
Thank you, Commissioner. We'd now like to invite the UNWTO Secretary General, Zurab Pololekashvili, to come up for his remarks.
Good morning, dear friends, dear President. Many thanks on behalf of our tourist world community to be with us today. For us, it's an honor and it's big motivation. And this is big day for Africa. It's big day for tourism. And again, many thanks on behalf of each minister, on behalf of each delegations who tried and to make almost impossible to be with us today. Thank you, dear Commissioner, for your kind visit to us. As you know, today is historical day. I can't call this 2 days conference. It's more than conference. It's next step to show to the world how colorful, how nice, how attractive is African continent, and then each country. So these 2 days we will work. I will talk less. I want to give the floor ministers to discuss and to see all opportunities because they know better in details what is happening on the continent, what are the projects we can do together. But one of priorities, and we promised, it was 1.5 years ago, to all our African brothers and sisters, to put Africa and to make Africa more trendy, and it was our top priority. If you ask me, is it timely? I think no, because we could do it in good times where tourism was booming, when we had recording numbers, but it's never, it's better late than never. So I'm very happy that it's happening in Namibia. Namibia is one of the leading tourism destinations, not only on African continent, and it's a pleasure, it's an honor to have you with us, and under your leadership, as we promised, we are here. We had a visit in November. Now we are here. I want personally to thank to each minister and delegations who arrived here from after so many barriers, which unfortunately in tourism sector all we have. I'm sure that this is another part of our job, and we agreed and we are working on the harmonized protocols, which is very important today, to don't confuse people and tourists how to travel tomorrow from Gambia to Namibia, from Namibia to Paris, from Paris to New York. So this is another challenge, and we are working on that. But today we are here to find the best solutions and best way how to promote Africa and to be ready. I'm sure that this pandemic will end one nice day, and we have to be ready for that day, and to don't make any mistakes we made before. I wouldn't call it mistakes. This is the future, and Africa has a future to attract more and more tourists. I always say that 84 million tourists, these are the number. African continent received is nothing, it's zero. And easily it's possible to double these numbers in a very short period, even in 2 or 3 years. Of course, we need patience, we need a lot of work. One of the parties promote well and right way African continent and African destinations. Of course, connectivity is another very important part of our job, and security and sanitary security, it became, of course, top one priority for all of us. So I want to thank to Namibian government hosting us, dear Deputy Minister, thank you. To you, to your excellent team, the Ambassador, dear brother Albertus, thank you to put on top priorities tourism in Namibian economy. All friends, guests who will participate in today's interesting session, I wish you successful morning, successful day, and then again, dear Commissioner, we will come to you to inform to all our African member states what we are doing, why we are doing, and we have to implement this. We are not here to talk and to make some photos or presentations. We are here to have a concrete strategic and action plan, and without your leadership it will be very difficult to implement this very important and interesting step to each destination. Again, many thanks, and have a successful and nice day. Thank you. Thank you, dear MC, to traveling from Miami to give more charm and more beauty to our today's important event.
Thank you, Secretary General Pololik Ashvili. It is a great honor to be here today, even though I flew all the way from Miami. To be home is always good. This is the land of the brave, the land of sunshine, and wonderful new things are going to be happening for our country and for Africa as we move forward. And talking about wonderful things happening for our continent and for Namibia, we'll now be witnessing the signing of 3 agreements between the UNWTO and both the public and the private sector stakeholders related to the development of sustainable tourism development in the continent. So this witnessing is a very auspicious occasion. Tourism is a transversal sector that is very much driven by the private sector. Today we'll witness the signing of an agreement between the UNWTO and Little Africa Mayo, who is represented by its chairman, Mr. Enrique Banalos, and Nancy Villanueva, CEO, Iberia and Middle East, Interbrand. You to come up on stage for the agreement. And we'd like to call on the Secretary General as well, please, to attend this witness of this agreement.
I forgot in my speech to mention, and it's a great opportunity, dear President, to brief you what we are doing and what we are signing. Interbrand is one of the leading companies worldwide who will dedicate to the branding of Africa, and first pilot projects, which will be Namibia and then Cabo Verde this year. We're so happy to have such big representative delegation from their side, and Enrique Banuelos, our another good friend and partner who is supporting the project Little Africa, which is happening also in Cabo Verde. During today we will have a chance to introduce to our friends what we are doing there. So thank you again, and thank you both parts to be next to UNWTO on this very important day.
Thank you, Secretary General, Mr. Enrique Banalos and Nancy Villanueva. Mr. Banalos, would you like to come up for a few remarks? Thank you.
Hello. Thank you, UNWTO, and thank you, Namibia, my president, and all the countries, African countries, now today is here. For my group, Little Africa Mayo, is one honor and opportunity, work and collaboration, all people together in have the effort for upgrade the Africa branding, the all each countries African, because thinking is very important. Africa no need change, need better communication of the world for potential the tourists. With this opportunity, can all people working together with our partner, Interbrand is leader, okay, in branding in the world, and all people together have the effort for more tourists in Africa and better connectivity, okay, continental. I think this is the challenge, and thank you all people for this big opportunity for us, okay? Thanks, my president.
Thank you, Mr. Banalos. That was the first of our 3 agreements to be signed here today. The public-private partnerships are critical for development of tourism sector, and it's also with this in mind that the UNWTO and the AUDA-NEPAD is reaffirming this collaboration through the signing of an MOU which outlines the key areas of cooperation to support sustainable tourism development in the continent. As we all know, the AUDA-NEPAD is a development agency of the African Union, coordinating and executing priority regional and continental development projects to promote regional integration towards the accelerated realization of Agenda 2063, Africa's Vision and Action Plan. I have the pleasure to invite Dr. Ibrahim Hassan Mayaki, CEO of the AUDA-NEPAD, for the signing of the MOU. Mr. Mayaki? Okay, great. And I think our Secretary General should come through as well. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Mayaki. Would you like to come up to say a few words? Thank you.
Your Excellency, President Gengob, Secretary General of UNWTO, ministers, all protocols observed, and my dear brother, Commissioner. Three issues. The first one is the African Union Development Agency was created through the reform of the African Union in order to increase our capacity of implementation. We take a lot of decisions, but we need to implement them. Implementation is our fundamental role. This MOU reinforces the outcomes of the last MOU we had, and we did quite concrete things. Tourism take adventures by boosting young entrepreneurs, helping design the Africa tourism strategy with the African Union Commission, and an important one, white paper on tourism and security, because you know these issues are becoming more and more important. So the fundamental aim of any MOU is, first of all, to respond to a need with a concrete solution. Two, to add value to what exists. And three, implement, implement, implement. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Mayaki, and to our Secretary General. That was the second of our agreements signed here today. And historically now we are going to be signing our third agreement. The UNWTO's 64th Regional Commission for Africa, CAF, will be hosted in Sal Island, Cabo Verde, on the 2nd to the 4th of September 2021. CAF is the organization's institutional meeting that is held annually, bringing together ministers of tourism in Africa to discuss the key areas of work for the sustainable development in the continent. The signing of this agreement forms part of the preparatory process for the event and to support the restart of the tourism sector. I have the pleasure to invite His Excellency Dr. Carlos Jorge Duarte Santos, Minister of Tourism and Transport, Cabo Verde, for the signing of this agreement, followed by a few short remarks. We'd also like our Secretary General to join us. Thank you. Congratulations on signing the CAF agreement with Cabo Verde. Your Excellency, Dr. Carlos Jorge Duarte Santos, please would you come up for a few remarks. Thank you, Secretary General.
Thank you. Good morning. Your Excellency, Mr. President of the Republic of Namibia, Your Excellency, Secretary General, UNWTO, honorable brothers and sister ministers, Your Excellencies, Commissioner of for Trade, and the adducer from African Union. My dear Enrique Barberas, here representing Little Africa, ladies and gentlemen, all protocol observers. First of all, allow me to express my special thanks to His Excellency colleague Minister of Environment, Forest and Tourism of Namibia, and His Excellency Secretary General of UNWTO for the invitation for this regional conference for impulse the brand of Africa for the shift recovery of the tourism sector and the warm reception and welcome in this great country where we are having the honor to sign the agreement that permits Cabo Verde to host the 64th meeting of CAF and the second edition of the Global Tourism Forum for the Investment in Africa, to be held in Santa Maria City, Sal Island, from 2 to 4 September 2021. Mr. Secretary General, my dear friend, we could not have a better occasion than this on to sign this agreement and this point at time in this beautiful country, Mr. President. And on the day we are discussing one of the most important items of the UNWTO agenda for Africa, Brand Africa. It is indeed auspicious. On the agreement and the respective events we have just signed, allow me 3 very brief notes. Firstly, on behalf of the government of the Cabo Verde, I would like to express our deep gratitude to all UNWTO African member states, the Secretary General, the Regional Director of CAF, and her team for the unanimous decision during the 63rd meeting of CAF about a year ago to create Cabo Verde the responsibility and the honor of hosting the 64th meeting of CAF. Thank you all for the trust and opportunity. Welcome to Cabo Verde. The second note is that despite the difficulties that we all are aware of at this stage of the pandemic crisis, the government of Cabo Verde is doing everything it can to make the 64th meeting of CAF a great journey of African member states, a journey of work, commitments, and preparation for the 24th General Assembly of the organization in the Kingdom of Morocco, shortly theatered in October. Finally, I believe, and we all do, the African Minister of Tourism present in the next Commission for Africa will be up to our responsibility in the organization despite the challenge that the pandemic and post-pandemic phase pose the African continent. And each of our countries